All right. So, on this episode, we're going to talk about ideas.
Yeah, not only ideas, but why you shouldn't abandon them.
I
So,
was thinking actually like ideas. Like we have a little intro, we don't have one. So.
yet. Yeah, working on that. So, but anyway, guys, yeah, so this episode's going to be about ideas, why you shouldn't abandon them, and honestly, why you should adapt. Adapt and keep building it. So, I'll let you take it off in the beginning, man, because as somebody that's built many companies, I think you have a better idea of not abandoning an idea. Just adapting it.
I'm crazy about ideas. I have, a million a night. So, and that's where this really comes into play. Yep. So, just to be honest, I think every idea I have is amazing. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be the next, $1 billion idea, right? So, what I've learned over time is, I would get stuck in that idea. And be like, no, it's going to work this way. It's going to work this way. That's the way it's going to be. But I've learned you gotta sometimes adapt. You don't abandon your idea, but you'll adapt off of it. So you might change little things here and there. You can't be so overconfident to where you stick to that idea even though it's failing. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to be able to adapt to make it succeed.
Yeah, there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. Not gonna lie.
Most definitely.
I pretty much had that one in my head already. But
oh, great.
Yeah, but anyway, so I mean, for instance, like with our teams. So obviously, how many times I wouldn't necessarily call it rebranding, but you'll bring an idea, or one of us will bring an idea, and we're not all so hard-headed that we won't change it.
Right.
We'll take it, we'll present it to the team, we'll make changes to it if necessary. We'll take criticism. That's another big point, criticism. Be able to take criticism.
Communication and criticism for sure.
So be able to take the criticism on your idea. Don't be so dead set on it that you're not willing to change, because if you can't change, you're going to stale out. Your idea could fail when it could potentially make you millions.
Exactly.
So, we'll bring those ideas in. We'll all talk about it. We'll all make the change to it. And then from there, look at what we've
something we've implemented recently in probably the last, 3 or 4 months is we implemented an actual idea hour.
Yep.
So we'll go over ideas, and usually we always will have something overnight, and then we'll just kind of go over those ideas. What is it about this we do like? What is it about that we don't like? And then we'll kind of, it'll move. Sometimes we'll take an idea that is here and it ends up way the hell over here.
Yeah.
But ends up fantastic.
And on top of the idea hour every day, we actually, we started the idea bowl. So there's a bowl that sits on a table inside the little lobby area, and if there's an idea throughout the day that you have that just pops in your head, don't abandon it. Just write it down, put it in the bowl, and then next morning we pick all the ideas out and we talk about them. Yeah. So there's a reason that idea is there.
And even with ideas, like everybody gets infatuated with ideas, and ideas is what starts it all. You gotta have that creativity and things like that. But a lot of times what people don't understand is you have the idea, but you have to be able to successfully, what would be the word I'm looking for here? Work your ass off and make that idea, real. So what's in your head has to end up be sellable, or whatever you're trying to do with that idea, or you're trying to help somebody. Whatever the case may be with the idea, you have to work your butt off and make that happen. So adapting is part of that.
Yeah, so if you don't have the grind for it, and it's a great idea, or you have an idea, if there's no desire to build and grow, any idea could fail. Most of the time, if you don't have that extra drive, then you're probably not going to go too far.
Yeah. And look at the most frustrating thing that we get. We'll get emails that are like, "Hey, I have this idea. It's amazing," But then you talk to that person. We'll reach out to that person. Okay, what is it about it that you like about it? Where do you see it going? They have no clue. Mm-hmm. We'll give them some input. No, that's my thing. Well, we can't really work with you if you're that hard-headed and you can't adapt at all. It's really tough to work with something like that.
It's especially bad where I came from doing the esports thing. Dear Lord, nobody wants to move from their idea of how an organization should be or how sponsorships and all that should work. Like, nobody wants the input of, here's how we'll start things and here's how I think it would look good to go. No. Nobody likes to hear that. It's been so frustrating.
Well, I think you hit on a good point there too, is a lot of the problems with an idea is they'll keep that in their head and they're so scared to move. And we see it with movies a lot. Somebody will have a director will have a great movie, but they're so scared to put it out or make a tweak on a trailer. Why? Failure. Mm-hmm. They're so scared to fail. And failure is like part of adapting. That's part of your business phase. That's part of your success. Is you're gonna fail. So don't be scared of that. So if you have an idea, and then you have an expert talk to you, and you're just tweaking little things. I'm not talking about like big corporate or big banks. I'm just talking about somebody in your group or whoever you work with.
Yeah. So basically, don't let the shadow of failure inhibit you from pursuing an idea. Like, don't be afraid. You know, I think that.
Is that clear? Is that clear? I feel like that's not clear.
I mean, like, I feel like we went over that in the introductory episode too. Is don't be afraid to fail.
We did.
And if you're,
we even said the word adapt a couple times.
Yeah. So if you're afraid to fail, you're going to be stuck. You're probably going to be stuck. You're not going to be able to take an idea and grow it. And the fear of failure is really what keeps you from evolving an idea.
And if you can't ever get over that, then business isn't for you. Just flat out. I mean, we said that we would speak the truth when we did the show, and that's really, if you're scared of failure, it's not for you, because that is part of the adapting process. You're going to fail, and that's okay. The great ones fail, adapt off that failure, and build something great.
Yeah.
And that's how we've done it so many times. Like, I don't think I can really think of I can think of one thing where it was a great idea and it just really took off, but that's one out of a lot, though. Like, how many thousands of ideas have we tried and played with, you know?
Oh, you know what? If we had a whiteboard behind us, the thing would be filled. There wouldn't be room.
Which would you use?
Yeah, I was gonna say we have whiteboards in every room. On top of the idea ball, I mean, that's another thing. We have whiteboards in every room. So I mean, at any point in the day, if you're walking and you have an idea, you could probably stop, and near you within 10 feet is going to be a whiteboard. So
we do, and that's something that we also implemented recently, because we have a 500,000 square foot building here, and we're just like in a little small room in it, but we have a lot of different divisions. So every division now has a whiteboard, and it's for that reason, because somebody that works for you might have an idea that's just freaking brilliant. You know, you never want to cut off that kind of stuff. Make sure the people that you work with are open to telling you things. They're not scared to present an idea.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the fear of speaking, and that's kind of like there's a difference between a boss and a leader. And I mean, if you're a leader, then you're able to take the idea and adapt with it and work with it with a team. Whereas if you're, it's kind of like, oh, you're a boss, quote unquote. I know everybody's seen that motivational picture. Like if you're a boss, you're probably not going to take the team's ideas and mesh it together and build from it. Whereas, I don't know, that's just, again, kind of going a little off tangent there, but hey, it makes sense.
No, I think that's a good point, though, because I think a lot of people have, read up on like Steve Jobs or something like that, and he had supposedly, like, obviously I didn't know the guy, but he had this real hard, just crazy attitude where it's like, you're going to do this, that's the way it is, and I think a lot of people like kind of took that, but there's only one Steve Jobs, you can't, that's not going to work for everybody. So being just an asshole to people doesn't usually get what you want, especially if you're in the idea business. Like if you're not, part of the show is not getting big corporate backing, not having big banks fund you. Like how do you do that without any of that? And that's what we're trying to, convey to you, I guess.
Yeah. And, again, going back to the beginning, we didn't start this with big banks and big backing and all that stuff. So
no money, and we've never had a big bank. We've never had a big investor to this day. So that's part of what we're doing here, trying to show you these things that can really help you. Because I feel like a lot of stuff that's out there now is geared toward, law of attraction with no work, or just think of an idea and it's just going to happen. It's just going to manifest because you think about it. Well, part of that's true, but you have to obsess and then obsessively work on that idea to make it happen.
Yep, and a lot of people don't understand the obsessively work on the idea part. They think, oh, it's a 9 to 5 thing. At 5 o'clock, that means I'm done working. No, not the case. If you have an idea and you're willing to adapt with it, well, then you also have to be willing to work after hours. 5 o'clock isn't after hours. I would say after hours is probably, 1 or 2 in the morning. So be willing to push to that limit and beyond that in order to grow the idea.
And that's where some of the greatest ideas come. When you're late night, you're just sitting there by yourself, and then you're just like rolling them, man. Like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, late night, sitting there on the couch, just like, man, what's gonna be on? Just going through it, writing stuff down.
Yeah, and we've texted at night, like, hey, what about this? It'd be like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, there's been the phone call. There's been the, hey, man, what do you think about this? Okay, well, yeah, let's move with it. Let's think about it tomorrow. No, let's think about it right now. So,
and it's that mutual respect. Now that sucks. Well, I don't think it does, but hey. let's just talk about it in the morning, and then we find out it probably does suck, and then we move on from there. We go to something new.
Exactly.
But I guess with that being said, definitely subscribe for more tips. We're going to be on Facebook. We got our Twitter set up.
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's rant_show, so go follow us there. Try to stay active on that on a daily basis. Of course, here on YouTube, if you're not subscribed already, you should be, because, there's going to be plenty of great business, family, and just basically life tips and whatever. I mean, honestly, this show is going to have a little bit of everything.
And we made a pact to personally respond. So either if you get a
Yes.
response, it'll be from myself or Austin.
Yeah.
So we're going to really do that.
We are the only two people on this that are going to be giving you information. So, I mean, for the time being at least. Never know. May have a guest star eventually. But anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much going to cover it for today. So if you have an idea, don't abandon it. Learn to adapt with it. Put in the extra work after hours. Anything else you got to say to it, man?
That's the fucking rant.
Bitch.